All right, good morning and happy Monday. We're going to do our live Monday morning mentoring. And today we're going to talk about addictions, um, especially food addictions. So I'm going to talk about it from a personal aspect as well as from what my experience is over the last 30 years working with clients. And being in the health and fitness industry, I've seen a lot of the addiction that comes from the body. So that would be the sugar addictions, carbs. We hear about this. We hear food addicts, and I want to correlate this to how we approach things here at Yogalachi, and that's in the holistic approach. Holistic just means that it's all connected, right? We're not segregating. So everything is together, is woven together, and if we handle one piece, then it's going to help the other. If there's one area that's struggling, it's going to affect the whole of the person. And with addictions, they're so interesting because addictions tend to come about because of an earlier point in time where a deeper need wasn't met. And let's just look at the general picture of this. So let's take an example of food addiction. And when someone, usually in childhood, there is a situation where the child has an experience that they either don't understand or they're having to adapt to someone else's agenda. Whatever that is, right? Children just have to do that. Now, I could go into abuse, and whether it's verbal, sexual, emotional abuse, and that is definitely a big part of addiction later in life. As to what happens, it can turn into addiction. But the root cause of that is that there is a point in time where there's confusion by the individual, whatever their age is, okay? They can't figure something out. They can't understand what's happening or why it's happening. And so instead of having tools within themselves to unravel it and to make sense of it, they'll either adapt to the other person or the environment situation and response to it, and then adopt it for themselves as a response. So let's just take a really simple example with my personal example. So when I was a child and I had dental issues, we would go to Wendy's and get Frosties after the dentist every single time. And any time that thereafter that I had issues with teeth or dental, that correlated to, well, I need a Frosty in order to get through what's going on with this fearful event, because the dentist had become a very fearful experience. I was afraid of it. I would go into shaking, etc. So there was trauma along those lines. So if you can think of times for yourself where there is a pattern. So then my body became addicted and literally craved the Frosty. So it then became a physiological, or the body craving it. So I had the mind using that, right, the emotion of fear, and then we brought in this solution that really wasn't an optimal solution to either mask the pain or to address the pain or to make the pain, lessen. And parents are wanting to do that, right? It would make the pain less, so here, give them an ice cream. But that isn't a healthy solution, as we see as we get older. And now that that's on autopilot or an addictive behavior, we then don't have the root cause. Then we go and try and stop it later on in the present time with willpower, and we're going to just will this, that I'm never going to, and now insert anything into this, insert alcohol, insert, video games, insert whatever, right? And so Then we say, okay, it's January 1st. I'm going to go cold turkey. I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to eat sugar anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. And I'm going to stop all these addictions cold turkey. And so we have that willpower for what? Maybe an hour, or until the peptides, we call them peptides in the brain and the body, start to rear their head and say, I have to have this, I have to have this. And there's no willpower that's going to be able to stop that. It's just the way the pattern has set up. So that's why we have to look at the earlier source of this. We have to go to the root cause. And then when it's in the physiological realm of the body also has its own addiction. So we have to come at this with a holistic approach. We have to look at this by not only clearing the emotional components and doing a new set point or resetting autopilot that's been set up. And we're not gonna label this bad or wrong. For whatever reason it was set up that way. And in this level of the subconscious, that's survival. And that addictive behavior now is something that is triggered within you to lessen anxiety, or to lessen a fear response, or to lessen or to mask other responses that were not optimum, that we wanted to make less. And again, as a child, we may not have wanted to, but someone in our lives was using that, and that was their default. So then that gets us into a long chain of genetics, or a DNA trigger. That is why we see this in alcoholism being a genetic trait. It's not only in our genes, it's also been modeled for us. It's the same with food, or insert anything in there. So I want to share that with you because first, I want us to be easier with ourselves on this. We're coming in, it's January 11th. We've come out of a really rough year and then started already an interesting year with the environment and politics, etc. But remember, things outside of us that we cannot control, we shouldn't be trying to control. What we want to regain control of through awareness is our response. And that's why, as a holistic coach, and what I do with all of my writing and coaching and speaking and teaching, is to help you reconnect to your own inner mental as well as physical power. The housing of your power is what you want to tap back into, because when you can re-tap into that, you're going to reclaim the energy that has been used for something not optimal for you. Not optimal in relationships, in work, in food, in whatever, because it's all connected. You can't fix one and not have it positively impact the rest. You can't have something going on in one area and not have it affect the rest. And this is why I wish the whole world could understand this. We can't go and cut the nose off and expect that right, the nose to spite the face doesn't work that way. It is holistic. It all works together. We are all connected. And in that macrocosm, looking at that way and understanding it can really set you at a more stable point to understand and correlate how things are going on in the microcosm, within your own world. So using that as a takeaway today for my Monday morning mentoring and for what we want to focus on this week, let's look at the gift of awareness, and awareness of addictive patterns within your own life. And I'm going to look at this myself for things that I have. I'm going through a little bit of doing decluttering around in my home, and so I'm looking at my patterns of hoarding in a way. I mean, I definitely, I grew up genetically. I'm predisposed to this already, to hold on to clothes and to hold on to my books and hold. So if I turn this, you would see a wall of books, and I'm not using them all. So I want to be able to let go of them, but there's this, I'm a little bit addicted to my books. I love my books and I love keeping them and holding them close. And that directly correlates to growing up with grandma, who I remember sitting in her kitchen and seeing just stacks and cabinets full of little yogurt cartons that were used up, and the aluminum foil just stacked and stacked. And when I asked her about that, she said, you never know when we're going to need this. We might run out. And so she did come from that mindset of Great Depression, then moving through. So we want to look at how are we building into future generations as well. So there's a lot here. Just one takeaway I will share with you, if you want to look at this, is that what is it that is the deeper need that is really looking for, what's the deeper need? What's the deeper need? And there are really only key deeper needs, universal needs, right? I don't need a book, but what does having all these books give to me? And I know, I mean, it's a deep thing for me. It's profound. It's a relationship, and it's a meaningful relationship. And those books do not betray me. They do not take things from me, right? So I have a history of sexual abuse in childhood. So, and I've done work on finding joy beyond trauma. I've worked on this, and that piece, I'm not saying everybody has that experience, but because I understand this and have a lot of empathy and compassion for that addictive behavior that comes as a result afterwards, the codependency, the addictive behavior afterwards, and I've spent 30 years learning and training and coaching and helping and using therapeutic tools to help not only myself heal, but help thousands of others heal with these. So we want to look at this as a gift and as an opportunity to grow and live into your best self. I want to be careful that I'm not saying this does not make the past okay if something was injustice, and so that has nothing to do with that. That's a different thing. Right here we're talking about specifically in this present moment an addictive behavior right now. What's the root cause? Because we can't use willpower. I can try and use willpower to clean out these books all I want. But until I get to the root cause and look at that deep piece about, what is that deeper need? And really be gentle and kind with yourself on it. It is going to be a struggle. But it doesn't have to be. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be. It can be something that you can unravel and unpack, and as a result, you will be that much more, that you'll be more resilient, stronger, more energized, and more confident because you're getting your power back from the inside out. And that's what I wanted to share today on our Monday morning mentoring. I hope that helps. I have a little bit more on the article today that's going to go out specifically on this and tools that you can use. I will also link the emotional freedom technique video that I use for all of my clients to do in between our sessions for homework to help clear when this comes up. It's inevitable that if we haven't fully cleared it, there are things that are going to come up, and it's a layer by layer process, because if it's happened in childhood, then there's compounding moments that reinforce that addictive behavior. And so we just clear it. We just keep clearing it. I would say don't be afraid of it. Don't be scared of facing your own life and your own dreams. You're worth it. You are worthy. You are strong enough. And getting the right support and the right help at the right time is also valuable. And so if you do want some help and support with that, please reach out. You can find through my videos, yourholisticmentor.com. You can find me at stefanajohnson.com, and I'll make sure the links are below so that if you want to reach out. And I also want to share with you an amazing little workbook that I sent out. It's your 2021 goal setting and balance reset. This is a great way to look at your whole life, see where there's at, take an inventory, and create the life that you want from the inside out. Until next time, I'm Stefana Johnson, and this has been your Monday morning mentoring for January 11th. I'll see you next time.